Montgomery Community Media presents a very special Montgomery Channel on location. Welcome to the Jubilee 2011 Roast for County Council President Valerie Ervin with special guest Congresswoman Donna Edwards, Congresswoman Gwen Moore, the Honorable Jeffrey Z. Slavin, and Avi Edelman, with your Master of Ceremonies, Charles H. Atwell. And now, here's your host for tonight, Susan Stark.
Good evening and welcome to the 2011 Jubilee Roast at the Silver Spring Civic Building at Veterans Plaza. We are here to honor Montgomery County Council President Valerie Ervin, who is the first African-American woman to be in her position. She has worked on issues like education, public safety, and our environment. But this evening will be more about fun and laughter than her accomplishments, as we hear personal stories from her friends and colleagues.
Good evening and welcome. What a great place to be. Montgomery County Councilmember Valerie Ervin represents District 5, which includes Kensington, Silver Spring, Tacoma Park, and Wheaton. Elected in 2006, she is the first African-American woman to serve on the council. And I'm not sure that we acknowledge that your mom's here, right? So, Mama, you should stand up and be officially. This is the lady really responsible, right? And all the way from Albuquerque, right? Albuquerque, New Mexico, she flew in for this. And if I happen to forget, Mama, if I happen to forget, you're going to tell me that nickname, okay? Before the end of. Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. I try to do some snooping to find out about any romantic connections. Well, she has been spotted during early bird specials at the Golden Flame with her Charterhouse older gentleman friend. Okay, did you ever schedule a meeting with Valerie? Expected her in an event? Well, she'll have her staff call and say, she's on the way, traffic's really bad, or this or that. Well, so I asked her about this. And so she explained to this kid from Michigan that it's CP time. And I said, wow, I've heard of WASP time, I've heard of gay people's time, but our first roaster, the Honorable Jeffrey Slavin, is Mayor of Somerset, Maryland. Please welcome the Honorable Jeffrey Slavin.
As you all know, there are good things and bad things about going first. The good thing is that you won't compare me to the really funny roasters who will follow me. But the bad thing is that you guys probably haven't had enough to drink yet. But I'm hoping you're going to laugh anyway. As everybody knows, Valerie is a pretty private person. And I was actually surprised that she asked me, of all people, to be one of her roasters. I mean, first, I know her really, really well and spent a lot of time with her. And as the mayor of Somerset, a native of the county, a corporate and philanthropic person, I know a lot of people. And I've been known to sometimes, rarely, hardly ever, on occasion, gossip. So when I first got the call asking me to roast Valerie, I said yes, and she's my friend. But after I hung up the phone, I thought, roast Valerie Ervin? What's funny about her? I mean, she's smart, she's wonkish, she's hardworking, she's honest and ethical. What on earth will we talk about at a roast? But luckily, I was able to dig up a few secrets about her, both politically and personally. I did more research I know more than Charlie. All right, so let's start with geographic politics. A lot of us thought that Valerie should run countywide last year to increase her visibility and prepare for her future. But instead, she ran for re-election in District 5, which includes Silver Spring, Kensington, and Tacoma Park. But do you want to know the real reason she didn't run countywide? Do you all know? Well, the reason is she gets lost almost everywhere outside her district. So, and I think a lot of you here know that. Hello. Even MapQuest. Okay, so as a service to you, Valerie, I decided to create a tutorial for you about the geography of our county. There it is. You know, PowerPoint, it's so easy today. I mean, I got a great help here with Cheryl Kagan, but PowerPoint. So, Valerie, you probably know the shape of our county, and with almost 1 million people, we cover 507 square miles. This is District 5, which you have ably represented for 4.5 years now. As you can see, it's just a tiny part of the entire county. And you know, you may need to know the other areas better in the future. So let's start with this section. Wheaton, Langley Park, and Long Branch. You'll want to brush up on your skills in Espanol here, verdad? To the south and west, you have Bethesda, Chevy Chase, and my own beloved Somerset. A lot of my people, the chosen ones, live there. Okay, be sure that you spend a lot of time in Leisure World, since you know seniors always vote. To make it easy to head west, you can choose the not yet fully completed Intercounty Connector, or ICC. Now, Valerie, when you're talking business or Gaithersburg leaders, be sure to emphasize its value for economic development and jobs. But when you're talking to your people in Tacoma Park, be sure to talk about the 3 new shrubs and other environmental mitigation that was done. Okay, speaking of the ICC, it will take you to the heart of Gaithersburg, North Potomac, and Rockville, part of the high-tech corridor. You'll want to be sure you're well-versed in Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, Indian, and other Asian cultures and customs, or they'll tell you sayonara on Election Day. Germantown? Who the hell knows? It's way too far north to have a clue what goes on up there. And I'm told the county stretches even farther north than that. But you'll have to figure that out for yourself, girlfriend. That might as well be North Dakota for this Somerset boy. So I do know that you'll get in big trouble if you mess with the Ag Preserve. Stay away from that if you want to keep your liberal base. Damascus, Laytonsville, Brookville, lots of Republicans, and conservative Democrats who don't vote in Democratic primaries. You can ignore them for now. And when it's time to kiss the ring, you'll know where to go. Does everybody see what that is? Ike's estate. So I hope this has been helpful, Valerie. I'm not done. Okay, now that you know your way around the county a bit better, let's talk about the campaign. Shown here is Mark Elrich's team of high-priced consultants. But you never did it that way. Valerie, you were known for having students from Blair High School help manage everything for you politically. How great to give them that experience at a young age. But that's not enough for our Valerie. She wants to be even more cutting edge, always looking to the future. It hasn't been announced publicly yet, but here is her team of advisors for her 2014 campaign. So Valerie, you know very well that image is important. This is the car you used to drive around your district, proving that you are one of the people. But we know that this is actually your primary vehicle. But really, Valerie, you must stop parking in disabled parking spaces. Can we talk fashion, Valerie? We know that you love purses and shoes, but I'm so glad I was able to talk you out of your crazy hat fetish. It's kind of a weird way of announcing your political beliefs, your food preferences, your, okay, forget that one, or your moral values. Speaking of morality, I know that religion is very important to you. On your official bio, you talk about your membership in Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Rockville. What isn't listed is your longtime participation with the Idara Ijafaria Islamic Center or with Congregation Oneg Shabbat. In the absence of hats, though, I do think it's important that you make a statement with your hair. I mean, now that our county is majority-minority, you need to lock up the ethnic vote. I keep trying to get you to look more ethnic. You dress too mainstream. Maybe now that one of your possible competitors has been trying out a new fashion statement, maybe you'll finally listen. And let me be the first to say, my friend, that this look just isn't working for you and hasn't worked for about 30 years or more. Now let's finally talk about policy issues since you're a wonk. Valerie, you need to figure out how to win the support of organized labor. Continue to. As you know, the police officers union, the teachers union, and the firefighters union are all pretty peeved at the county executive and county council right now. But you're trying to show your devotion to labor unions by reaching out to organize a previously unrepresented, disrespected, downtrodden, mistreated group of workers in our county. Yoga teachers. That'll be your future. On the topic of the environment, everyone is going to say they're for it. So how can you distinguish yourself when there's no money to spend on new initiatives? I've come up with a new type of recycling. I mean, wasn't it you who suggested bringing back Royce Hansen as head of the planning board like 63 years after he left? So let's recycle people. As county executive, you could promise to bring Esther Gelman back as chief of police, Gene Cunahan as the whiz kid of information technology, Jack Johnson as head of ethics, and Sid Kramer as director of the environment. Well, it wouldn't be a roast if we didn't talk about Valerie's juicy personal life. Boy, oh boy, is she a heartbreaker. The trail of tears she leaves behind is just astonishing. She has had some pretty high-profile romances, too. And Valerie's open-mindedness is reflected in her romantic life, too. But really, Valerie, really? Valerie, the last area we must really cover are the potential pitfalls and vulnerabilities you could face in your future. First, now that you're being discussed as a possible countywide candidate, some people are starting to whisper where you were actually born. I mean, have any of you ever seen her birth certificate? And she grew up in New Mexico. Everyone knows that's really a part of Mexico. In other words, Valerie Ervin is not even a real American. Second, there's that lingering conflict of interest thing you battled several years ago. There were a lot of complaints that serving on the Board of Education was somewhat problematic for your paid job as George Leventhal's Chief of Staff. What they haven't focused on yet is the huge and obvious conflicts that have been created by your work with Milwaukee-based Congresswoman Gwen Moore. I mean, really, Valerie, could you be a bit more subtle in your newfound affection for all things Wisconsin? First, there's the proposal you introduced legislation to triple the amount of cheese in our kids' lunches. Then there's the move to relax restrictions on what's been permitted in the Ag Reserve. But lately, you've been badgering your colleagues to support University of Wisconsin teams and suggesting that we set up a beer garden in Germantown. Valerie just doesn't realize how famous she is. She's so modest that I'm guessing she doesn't even notice that she always gets the very best tables at both Denny's and IHOP. Well, maybe not always at Denny's. A lot of people aren't aware of the many perks given to the council president. It's not widely known that she gets her own driver, the largest suite of offices, tripled budget for staff. What you may not know is that she gets 2 votes on all council decisions. That's just Nancy Navarro's. Well, it's all in fun, Nancy. Okay. Well, Valerie, that's the advice I can offer you. And a lot of us hope you'll run for a bigger office next time. And I hope this will help get you ready.
Stay with us as we continue our tribute to Valerie Ervin after the break.
Montgomery Community Media makes it easier than ever to search for and view great Access 19 and Montgomery Channel programs. Shows you want to watch when you're ready to watch them, all in one convenient location. Simply go to mymcmedia.org and hit On Demand. You're one click away from thousands of great locally produced shows for the whole family. Stay in the loop and stay connected with mymcmedia.org. Never off, always on demand.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
Valerie and I have been friends as long as she's really been in elected office, I guess. I knew her through school board and the county council, and she's my council member, and we've gotten to be friends over the years working on various Silver Spring issues.
I mean, it's always nice to support Jubilee, but on top of that, it's a great time for us to honor Valerie and her service to the community and what she's been able to do for Montgomery County.
Valerie Ervin is a servant of the people. My husband was State Senator Leonard Teitelbaum, and we've known Valerie for a while, and she's just a wonderful person, and we're proud and honored to have her say yes, that she would participate in our event tonight.
Welcome back as we continue to roast and toast our County Council President, Valerie Ervin.
Please welcome Congresswoman Donna Evans.
Wow. Thank you all. It's great to be here, and it's really hard to follow Jeffrey. I mean, you were so wrong. You should have been last. And when I was asked to roast Valerie, I mean, I was not really down for this. Because, when you know a person for so long and in a really different kind of way than so many of you know Valerie, I had to really struggle with the way that I could do this so that I could tell just the right amount of secret, but not enough secret. So Valerie, and I'm so excited to see Mom Ervin here this evening. My mom is totally holding against me that I didn't drive from the Capitol after votes to pick her up and bring her here, and I'm paying for that for a really long time, Mom. I wanted to go check for a second. Now, what kind of earrings do you have on? Are they pierced? No. They're clip. You know why they're clip-ons? I'm going to tell you the story. Valerie takes her sister Pam, and this is what a great organizer she is, and this is why she's been able to convince you all that she's so special and she does so many wonderful things and that she's so smart and talented and knows everything. And so she convinces her sister Pam to go and get their ears pierced. And you know, we were at the time when they do those guns that they pierce your ears with, you know, pop, and they get your ear plug. And so Valerie goes with her sister to the mall, Windrock Mall in Albuquerque, for the ear piercing. And she says to her sister Pam, "Oh, Pam, you go first." And Pam goes first and gets that one. And then she says, "Oh yeah, do the other one. I just want to see it, and I'll go next." Pam goes, "It hurts like crazy." Because anybody who's ever had that done, no, like crazy. Valerie looks at that and says, "Well, I don't think I'm going to do mine." And this is how, you're welcome. This is how she's able to convince you all to do things that you actually think that you don't want to do, and in the end you end up doing them, and Pam knows that, and that's Valerie Ervin. And so when she has on these fancy earrings, you just ask her why they're clip-on. So, Valerie, now I read this bio, you know, and I'm like, oh, she's a labor organizer, that's cool, you know, all that education stuff. But Valerie, how do you feel about board games? Playing board games? She's really smart. If you want to win, play Valerie in any board game you can name. She doesn't really do them. And so she's an easy mark. But the best thing is on holidays, our favorite thing to do after Thanksgiving dinner is to play charades or taboo. And we choose teams. And it's very, very, very competitive. Let me just say, how many of you are charades players? Good for you. Don't choose her as a partner. You know, we'll have the poster board up there, and Valerie, what are you doing? And she's standing there, and you know, we've got an egg timer, and we turn the egg timer over, and you're looking, you're on her team, and you're like, can you just put something on the page? Give us anything. And then she blurts out the answer, and you lose. And so I've learned not to choose Valerie. So Valerie, who do I choose? I choose Solomon when I want to play. Solomon is Valerie's oldest son, and we're like the ace team. But if you want to play charades or taboo, forget it with Valerie, because she'll blurt out taboo is the worst. You know, because they give you the cards and they tell you the answers. Well, you're not supposed to read the answers. You're supposed to give a clue. Valerie, aren't you supposed to give a clue? Right. But I mean, I know that she's good at this politics stuff. Just don't play a board game. And so Valerie's always described as this goody two-shoes. I look at this bio right here, you know, Citizen of the Year Award. Okay, so Valerie and I have a similar story in our lives, and Valerie's was very close to her dad, and it involves her dad. And so I'm not going to tell all of the story because Jeffrey, it would truly interfere with that long-term plan of yours. But I'm going to share part of it, and Valerie will just laugh because she will know the end of it, but she won't share it with you. But it has something to do with being given a curfew, violating the curfew, and then violating the curfew and not quite standing up as straight as one would like. But maybe it's because you had on heels, I don't know. And then coming home and, being read the riot act, because, your dad's like mine. You thought, oh, well, maybe they're asleep and you can kind of sneak in the door. And man, he's sitting right there in the dark to like bust you as soon as you walk through the door. And it wasn't pretty, was it, Valerie? It really wasn't pretty, was it, Valerie? But you did it, and you never did it again, right? Okay. So there you know. Not such a goody two-shoes after all. And then lastly, I'm going to tell you, because you can hardly get through especially high school. Now, first of all, we got to get this out of the way. Stand up, Valerie. Stand up. Okay. Now, you all don't have to identify who you are. I'm Donna Edwards. This is Valerie Ervin. I have short hair. Valerie has short hair. We both have on black suits tonight. But how many of you have ever walked up to Valerie Ervin and said, "Hi, Donna Edwards"? I know who you are. How many of you have ever walked up to Donna Edwards and said, "Hi, Valerie Ervin"? You know who you are. Well, take a really, really good look. Now, say, Valerie, we're going to profile it right here, and we're going to turn around right here, and we're going to turn around right here. Everybody in this room got that? All right. And so, the last thing that I want to share with you is that Valerie is, in addition to being a great friend and a terrific organizer and incredibly, smart and able to get people to do just about anything, she also will take you down. And you will. And even if you're a sibling. And so say, for example, if your parents say to you, "I want you to stay in the house and I don't want you to go out," and you convince your two younger siblings to climb out the window. I mean, I guess this is what y'all did in North Dakota, I don't know. To climb out the window and to come in and open the door, and then you would be able to get out all around the house. You get caught, and Valerie, rather than owning up to what she's done and what she's convinced her younger siblings to do, instead tells on them and makes it look like they're the ones who did it. So all I'm saying to all of you, to each of you out there, look, sweet smile, doesn't look like she can harm a fly. She will take you down. So thank you very much, Valerie, for letting me just play with you a little while tonight. I love you, I adore you, and thank you for being such a good sport.
Stay with us as we continue our tribute to Valerie Ervin after the break.
Montgomery Community Media makes it easier than ever to search for and view great Access 19 and Montgomery Channel programs. Shows you want to watch when you're ready to watch them, all in one convenient location. Simply go to mymcmedia.org and hit On Demand. You're one click away from thousands of great locally produced shows for the whole family. Stay in the loop and stay connected with mymcmedia.org. Never off, always on demand.
Explore new worlds. Read. Visit literacy.gov and let the journey begin.
This is our annual roast. Really has a couple purposes. It's a fundraiser for us. Obviously, we want to earn some money to help what we do. It's also a chance to kind of honor some of the community leaders, and we're delighted to be able to honor Valerie Ervin, as well as to have a little fun with her.
Valerie has given so much to the community, particularly right now as she serves as chairman of our county council. And she has risen to the occasion, and she's providing the kind of leadership that we need at this very difficult moment.
Val immediately jumped into a lot of the issues here in Silver Spring, and with the involvement that I've had with the Chamber of Commerce, but also with the Fillmore Music Hall project, which is under construction right now, she's been a supporter from day one, and she understood the economics behind it and why it makes sense.
Welcome back as we continue to roast and toast our County Council President, Valerie Ervin.
Give a warm welcome to Avi Edelman, please.
Good evening, everyone. So my name's Avi, and as Charlie said, I'm just a few weeks from officially graduating from Columbia University. So I'd like to start by taking a moment to acknowledge all of the elected officials here in the room. Can you raise your hands? Yeah, I'm looking for a job. And so I'm going to spend some time tonight talking about my old job, which was working on Valerie's campaign. So one thing I'll start out with is that when I first started working for Valerie, I was in 9th grade. I was a lot smaller and a lot cuter. And because I was small and cute, it was okay that I would just walk around to people and tell them to give money to Valerie, and that wasn't considered rude. So all of you should take out your cards and give money to Jubilee. It's a great organization, and we're very glad they're putting on this event. So I've known Valerie for about 7 years now, and 7 years ago I first joined her Board of Education campaign as a volunteer. And I want to tell you that nearly a decade in politics, and she's remained the same person that I knew in high school. Savvy, dedicated, and as other people have mentioned, about 45 minutes late. She even jumped into both of her campaigns late, and she filed her account reports late, and she fired the treasurers who filed the account reports late. So it was quite an interesting experience, Valerie. We went through a lot of treasurers in those couple of years. I think we went through as many treasurers as the county executive has had bad PR days. Oh, I'm just kidding. Listen, Ike Leggett's had a rough couple of months. I just want, I am not an expert on making a budget, which makes two of us. So, back to Valerie's first campaign now. Oh, come on. Let me tell you something that you might not believe as a candidate. Valerie was difficult to manage. Where's Sonia? You know what I'm talking about. So one day we finally convinced Valerie that it was time to start making fundraising calls, and Roz, the campaign manager, gave Valerie a list of 200 people to call and ask for money. And so after about 2 hours, Valerie was halfway through the second phone call, and we decided it was time to intervene. So for the rest of the campaign calls were made with Roz sitting over Valerie with a stopwatch. Yeah, in those days we had ragtag discipline. If I remember correctly, Roz limited Valerie to 1 glass of red wine per night during the campaign. So now that Valerie's the council president, though, that policy's totally changed. As the budget season wears on, the drink total increases incrementally, and we call that maintenance of effort. So anyway, by the time we got to the second campaign in 2006, we had things really down to a science. And by that I mean Valerie once again jumped into the race at the last minute. My friend Adam and I in about March had told her she should really consider the council seat. And so when it was time for a follow-up phone call, June, we got one. And Valerie said, okay, I think that's a good idea now. I've thought about it. And we said, Valerie, who's going to run your campaign? And she said, you two. And we laughed and we said, no, really, Valerie, who's going to run your campaign? And when she gave us the same answer, we knew she had really gone round the bend. For my part, I had already committed to participating in a junior counselor training program at my sleepaway camp, one that did not permit us to have cell phones or access to email. So it seemed like I was not going to be a good fit. So what did Valerie do? We've been talking about how she's a bit of a rule breaker. She sent me to camp with a secret cell phone and secret campaign BlackBerry. And from various hiding spots around the camp during that summer, I wrote op-eds for the Gazette, and I made campaign calls, and most of the calls ended with, no, I will not be at the meeting tonight. I'm at summer camp. It was quite a campaign. I remember dropping lawn signs off at polling spots at 3 in the morning. I remember living out of the one seat in my car that wasn't full of campaign literature and lawn signs, working all night and sleeping mostly during class. And it was about election day that Adam, who was running the campaign with me, and I turned to each other and we realized we weren't old enough to vote yet. We also, if I remember, left the victory party early because we had homework due the next day. So you get to know someone pretty well when you work with them over 2 campaigns, and Valerie has certainly had her nutty moments, which I call her Dutchie moments. So here are a few things I learned about Valerie along the way. Believe it or not, Valerie has hobbies. Though many claim she's a workaholic, she once decided that despite her busy schedule, she needed to do something to relax. And I thought that was a great idea until I found out that that thing to relax was working for Congresswoman Moore. Valerie is very detail-oriented. Who's seen her incredible website? Many of you. Well, I hope you have, because if I had $1 for every change we made because that picture is too dark, or those look too much like Halloween colors, or I'm on council recess and have too much time on my hands, then I could fund the purple line. Believe it or not, and this might shock you, Valerie is soft on crime. And how do I know this? Well, I once ran into her in the grocery store, and Adam and I, who were probably 18, were buying big jugs of margarita mix. And Valerie told us she would get us out of jail if the evening didn't go as planned. I'm gonna remember that. So, all kidding aside, Valerie, you're such an incredible public figure, a tremendous advocate, and a wonderful friend. And I can't put into words what you mean to all of us, so instead I wrote a song. Do you all want to hear me sing a song? Are you sure? Like really sure, or like Sam Aurora on Gay Marriage Sure? Okay then, now I'll warn you, I'll sing the song to close us out, but my singing abilities are comparable to George Leventhal's hair growing abilities, not the George Leventhal in Jeff's presentation though. So, here we go. Let me grab my intro music. First we were afraid, we were petrified, kept thinking Val would never win, would lose in a landslide. But then we spent so many days knocking doors and making calls, we had a ball. And the voters bought it all, so now you're back. Former prom queen, I just flew in to find you here with tiger blood like Charlie Sheen. And now you're the council prez, you will make things go your way. The Board of Ed don't like you much, but who needs them anyway? Go on now, go. Just hit reset. They cannot touch you. You've got the Post and the Gazette. Weren't you the one who planted gardens all through town? You clashed with labor and even made Gino frown. Oh no, not Val. She is our gal. She may not make it to meetings on time, but the governor's her pal. She will never ever quit. Just ask angry Ike Leggett, 'cause she is Val. And she's our gal. Hey, hey. It takes all of Sonia's strength to keep her in line. It is easy once you give up on her getting there on time, and Val spent oh so many days passing important bills en masse. Some folks complain. They can all just call the office and leave a message, and we'll be sure to get back to you sometime soon. And you see her, and you must know, she's making waves like she's been doing since 4 years ago. And so thanks for dropping in and donating to Jubilee. There's so much laughter to be had when we're discussing Valerie. Go on now, go. Just hit reset. They cannot touch you. You've got the Post and the Gazette. Weren't you the one who planted gardens all through town? You clashed with labor and even made Gino run frown. Oh no, not Val. She is our gal. She may not make meetings on time, but the governor's her pal. She will never ever quit. Someone ask Ike Leggett, 'cause she is Val. And she's our pal. Hey, hey.
Stay with us as we continue our tribute to Valerie Ervin after the break.
So, April.
Yeah?
You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Montgomery Community Media makes it easier than ever to search for and view great Access 19 and Montgomery Channel programs. Shows you want to watch when you're ready to watch them, all in one convenient location. Simply go to mymcmedia.org and hit On Demand. You're one click away from thousands of great locally produced shows for the whole family. Stay in the loop and stay connected with mymcmedia.org. Never off, always on demand.
Strong community leader, great advocate for the poor, a heart of gold.
I'm going to remember that people who I haven't seen in a long time are here. It's like a big reunion. It's the best of what our community is in Silver Spring and in Montgomery County. And I wish we could do it more often, but it's a great night.
Val was always stuck up by herself, and we named her Fatso.
Welcome back as we continue to roast and toast our County Council President, Valerie Ervin.
Congresswoman Gwen Moore is the first black congressperson from Wisconsin. Congresswoman Moore is a member of the prestigious House Committee on Financial Services, the House Budget Committee, and is also a member of the Democratic Steering and Policy Committees. So please give a big Wonder Woman welcome to Congresswoman Gwen Moore. You know, you guys have thought that you've seen it all. You know, I got a feeling that Silver Spring is not ready for this Congresswoman.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Charles. Let me tell you, I heard that this dinner was sold out, and that Valerie had kind of shook her money maker, and you know, this was the highest yield that the Jubilee Association of Maryland, Inc. had ever gotten from one of these roasts. And I was quite critical. I said, why would you have this event in the Civic Center where the fire marshal would know what's going on? Y'all need to have it somewhere else so y'all could have sold twice as many tickets and packed these people in here a little tighter. Valerie could have made y'all a little bit more money because she is quite a card. Let me tell you something. I this morning had a colonoscopy. I know that's sort of nasty, but y'all have all had your dinner. And little did I know that they were gonna put me under. I mean, they drugged me, so I have some plausible deniability about anything I say here tonight. It's true that I was trying to introduce Valerie to someone for her educational expertise, and then threatened my friend, you better not hire her because I need her to do some human resources work with me, some staff development, some hiring. I can't wait until the session is over so that she's under contract with us as a contract employee as my special advisor. Tell you a little bit more about what a special advisor does as I move on. But I appreciate her because of her perception, her institutional perspective, her people perspective, and her perspective on places. She has a great sense of institutions. That's why, you know, she has a master's degree in labor organizing and has worked for organized labor. I guess that's why they're so pissed off at her right now. Because I tell you, Valerie is capable. She has the capacity to study your stuff, become one of you, and then she knows how to deal and negotiate and handle your butt. I got the 411 on Valerie. She became an expert on education, was elected to the school board, was elected to the county council and became the chair of the education committee. Started out as a volunteer because her kids are doing bad in school. She carried her butt up in there and she told her kids and the school system, ain't neither one of y'all gonna fail. This is Valerie up in here. So you have to read between the lines sometimes, but I happen to know that about Valerie. She has deep insight. She's also very talented at identifying places where there are opportunities. You know, it was very fortuitous for us to come to the House of Representatives. She had so many relationships. She knew the speakers people. She knew the DCCC's people. She had so many people in labor. This woman has relationships. She knows not only people but places where there are opportunities. She's, of course, worked at the Labor College and so knows people in labor. But I do have some concern with her geographic dispersion. Jeffrey mentioned it earlier. She was born in Guam. And so I suggest that if she's going to have other opportunities in this county, I would suggest, Valerie, that you come up with that birth certificate pretty soon. And distribute it widely, put it on your website, and give people some instruction as to where Guam is and what its relationship is with the United States of America. Because that will become an issue. So Valerie has insights into institutions, people, places. She came to Washington, D.C., something that I think is really scary to do, to come here. Her mom says she wasn't worried. Maybe that's because her parents dragged her all over the United States as a child, as an Army brat. But she came to Washington, D.C. with a young child as a single parent, without a degree. That's pretty gutsy. That's really gutsy to do. And it's something that I admired because she saw Washington, D.C. as a place that she could cultivate her abilities. Ivy, all built on that first victory as prom queen. And I would imagine that is why she has chosen the Jubilee Association of Maryland to put herself out there, because Jubilee is an association that provides opportunities for people who need help getting themselves together. They work with the disabilities community to provide them housing, because I suspect when she got here she was pretty unstable and didn't have housing. And so she can very much relate to that as a mission, but she has certainly built on that. She has insight into institutions, people, and places, but she doesn't have much insight into how she is so wonderful. She doesn't have much insight into that at all. When Jeffrey Slavin, the mayor, had a high tea party and we had to wear a hat, she was very anxious about wearing this hat and didn't realize how gorgeous and beautiful she would be in this hat. And so my sister loaned her this glorious, wonderful, beautiful hat, and everyone complimented her on how wonderful and beautiful she was in this hat. And so she marched around for hours, and pretty soon everybody kind of left, and there was kind of nobody else there. She was still marching around in this hat. She kept walking around in the hat, and she was going to give Brenda and I a ride home, and Brenda said to her, Valerie, I think you might want to take that great big hat off now while you're driving. She always seems to be surprised when she is nominated as the phenomenal woman or as a Wonder Woman, that she's told that she's great and awesome, or that she's a trailblazer. She always minimizes it. She's somebody who says, hey, I didn't aspire to be a great politician. I was just somebody who gave a damn, somebody who cared. I saw my kids failing, I saw the school system failing, and so I got in there to try to make a difference and do something. And that's why the Montgomery County schools are now the greatest schools in the United States. She's somebody who just is a regular, ordinary person and takes people at the level of their need. And that is why I call her my sister, not just someone that I encountered as a co-worker. And she is someone who is at home any place that she is. She's someone that can make friends any place that she is. And I salute you this evening, my phenomenal, wonderful, great, awesome, trailblazing friend. And I congratulate Jubilee for choosing her for their honoree this evening. Thank you so much.
There you have it. The mic, the floor is yours.
So let me just begin by taking a few little shots at the people who took shots at me. Oh, I'm so doing it. So for Congresswoman Donna Edwards, let me just say, I lived across the street from Donna Edwards growing up, and while most of us as teenagers, tweens, we were like 12, 13, we spent a lot of time in front of the mirror learning how to do the funky chicken. Donna always had her nose in a book. It got her into Congress, but it won't get her on Dancing with the Stars because among her friends, it is a well-known fact that girl cannot dance. She learned how to dance watching Elaine on Seinfeld. Donna is also an athlete, but lately that's kind of questionable. Since she's been a member of Congress, she's fallen down the marble stairs in the Capitol and were you in a wheelchair for a little while? Okay. And she's still wearing that brace, raise your arm, that she says she hurt while she was playing softball. But that's still debatable. I'm gonna get the real story on that. But she is an athlete. I know she grew up playing softball and running track and all that stuff. Look at her, she looks fabulous. So thank you for roasting me softly. And for you, Congresswoman Moore, you were sweet. She didn't really roast me. She said nice things, so I will reciprocate. Last week, the world watched as the royal family celebrated the wedding of the future King and Queen of England. Don't think for a minute that we don't have our own royalty here in the U.S. As a matter of fact, Congresswoman Moore is known to many as the Queen Mother. And it's spelled M-O-T-H-A, Mother. Gwen Moore is also mindful of the woeful state of the U.S. economy. I was scheduled to meet with a member of her staff for lunch and was anticipating a nice sit-down meal, and much to my surprise, I found myself in the food court at Union Station in line at the Taco Bell. The Congresswoman certainly has her priorities in order. 1, hair, 2, makeup, and 3, nails. Am I right? We love you. And for Jeffrey Slavin, as you all know, Jeffrey is a very dear friend of mine. He's also the mayor of the town of Somerset. We all know that being the mayor of Somerset is like being the concierge at the Four Seasons Hotel. I know this must be a really stressful job. Just last week, there was a report of a stray dog roaming the neighborhood. Most of Jeffrey's good friends believe that he was switched at birth. I recently found out Jeffrey's real name is Shaniqua Jones. And I love love you dearly, Jeffrey. I want to say also at this table are the people who support me and make my job a joy to come to each and every day. My Chief of Staff, Sonia Healy. Okay, I don't know where she went. She's the one working in the back of the room. My two other staff members are here, Rich Romer and Shonbelle Foster. We both did, Shonbelle especially did a lot of work working with Jubilee on making sure this evening was a great success. Again, God has blessed us all with so many riches, and tonight we're here to give back to those who need us to give back to them. So you have made this event wonderful. I'll never forget it. I'll probably never do this again, but I'm looking forward to next year's roast, and I hope that I will be able to do the person being roasted justice. I hope I get a volunteer to do that again. So I want to thank Jubilee once again, and thank you all for being out tonight. It was a great night for Silver Spring. We're in Silver Spring's living room. Thank you all to Peterson Companies, to AFI, to United Therapeutics, to Discovery, to all the wonderful friends that we have in Silver Spring that make it such a joy to represent this area every single day on the County Council. So thank you all very much.
Besides having many moments of laughter with Valerie Ervin this evening, we don't want to forget that the Jubilee Association of Maryland could always use more support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, please go to their website at jubileemd.org. For Montgomery Channel on location, I'm Susan Stark. Thank you for joining us, and good night.